I read a couple of things, and right now, before I say what I'm about to say, um, I still appreciate everybody, men especially, and not good to criticize you in any sort of way. It's just a personal preferences. And I understand when everybody's situation is going to be different. I'm not going to criticize any disability or anything like that because that's not how I am. But I'm going to go ahead and begin anyways. So please, whatever you do, don't take it to heart. Don't take it too hard. Even so, you know, but I wrote some things that if, let's say, a future guy wants to get to know me and know me a little better about some things. Again, I'm going to say I'm not here to criticize, per se. I'm just going to say it in a nicer way why men should be proper in 2025. And I'm not going to say everybody's situation is the same. Which I know have some people in the group homes right now, and I know they may not know how to do some things, and I respect it, no matter what. I just know to not do certain things. And you'll understand. I'm not going to say too in depth. Just leave it like that. Because I have friends that are in those homes. I still love them to death. Even to have beards on, even if whatever. But I think I'm thinking about this. Like all men should, or some men, if you can't shave yourself, it's okay. But if you can't, if you can shave, please do. If you can't by yourself, you need assistance. I understand. And I respect that. But if you can, please shave your beards when you have the ladies. If you can't, I still respect. But if you can, please do. Because people like me, like if you have acne, and I have acne, and if somebody approaches me with a beard, lip to lip, but I'm not going to say what it is. A lot of times I like to dodge, I like to prevent the lips as much as possible because of the fact I get systematic acne. I get severe blisters right here that sometimes is painful. And they're not acne's best friend. And to say it in a nicer, neutral way, I don't. This is just the way. If I do meet a guy or something like that, if someone else comes along, just say the first one would be an iffy. If you can, great. If you can't, it's okay. But I just know if you can't, then I know how to avoid lips as much as possible. Okay? Okay. I think men should never look like they're thrown away. Like, men in general, shouldn't look like they're thrown away. But I'm not going to criticize anybody. Some people just can't help it, And it's okay to look a little lazy sometimes. I do too, As a lady, I kind of have a lazy look. I don't always dress up unless it's important enough to do so. At least we try to not look that thrown out. We've got ways to present ourselves, put deodorant, things like that to keep us clean. That's what I meant. I think the guys should never call the lady's mother when the answer is no. Well, sometimes, I'm not going to say specifically, because I'm trying to avoid that issue right now. I'm trying to avoid saying everything, but if the lady says no, don't call their mothers. Because sometimes, because I am part of the biblical standing of let your yeses be yeses and your nos be nos. If I say no to some things, it means there's a good reason why I say no. But I'm not going to go all in the details talking about other people because that's not what I'm about. I'm a Christian. I'm trying to act in the way a Christian woman should be acting. You know. So I'm not going to go that far in detail with that one. But that is simple because biblical standards. Yeses and yeses. Nos and yeses be yeses. Nos be nos. I don't know which verse that is, so that is the standard. I think the guy should try to at least respect that the lady's decision on some things and not try to manipulate. I think that kind of ties into the last point, but try not to be as, calling the person or whatever to get us to change our minds. Sometimes people like me, I just don't want to say injure about somebody because I don't want to say it as something that just like to be left unsaid. But people like me, per se, kind of like to stand on the word. If they say no to some stuff, or yes, that you should respect the decision, And sometimes decisions what's best for us. For me, I like to be in clean spaces because of my allergies. The minute I go into places that are unfamiliar, in the sense unfamiliar, like I say by anybody's house, but this is the truth, because I like to leave that detail out. My sinuses tend to go into overdrive. And then the next thing you know I'm in urgent care about 2 or 3 days later, and that's how I try to avoid the allergens as much as I can. And I'm on allergy meds too, and I don't want to have that being a problem, if you understand. Last but not least, respect your spaces. Like, sometimes, I don't like to always walk and talk when I'm walking up and down my street. Because, look, I am trying to stay alert. And things can really happen, and, and I just don't like getting hit, hurt, kidnapped. Because there's a lot of that been going on in our news today. But I hope this is a nice video. I hope this is not as insulting or anything like that. I hope this is me acting like the sweet person, not anything else. See you later.